Hey again, just want to talk about individual sovereignty this morning and how really important it is to consider if you haven't considered it. If you have, if you understand it, then awesome. But individual sovereignty is such an important concept for not only empowering yourself during this life, but once people pass out of their bodies and they end up in the on the other side outside their body, how to navigate that and what to do because if you've read you know 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 plus near death experiences like I have, or listen to people talk in video form of it, you'll see that what happens to people is there's a customized experience for them where they're basically being navigated or manipulated, you could say. It's what the data shows. If you look at the data patterns, by different entities depending on their own religion. So, for example, if somebody's living a life where they're giving their individual sovereignty away to Jesus or some other entity, then that entity is the one that appears to them when they pass, and gets them going into to follow them and things like that. And it's, it's people don't even really, they're not even giving people time to just they really kind of hit you up right away like a bad like timeshare salesman almost. Like they, as soon as people die, they're literally being like manipulated like instantly. It's not like they're given space. It's not like they're given time to be like, wow, that was a traumatic experience. Like I just died. Um, they're getting they're getting hit up like right away by these entities that are custom to their beliefs and getting them to follow. And what this tells me is that it's just so important to be your own self governance, individual sovereign. Like it says here, living in alignment with your own truth, free from fear, control, or conditioning. And I would encourage you to embrace yourself and your individual essence within you as the true power that you really have, and consider not giving it away while you're alive to any outside source that would seek to potentially manipulate you upon your passing. And that includes trying to live in a way with others, like different forms of community, whether you're living with one other person or a family or in a community setting, where they understand this as well. And they understand how important it is for each individual in the community to maintain their own sovereignty and their own rights and their own power. Um, so this also means really just potentially not going along with when you're presented a situation where your gut and your intuition's telling you not to go ahead with something, and like 10,000 people around you, let's just say like lemmings, they're all marching towards the edge of a cliff, and they're all trying to convince you that this is what needs to happen. That if your inner essence is speaking to you saying, no, that doesn't seem right, then that's what you need to listen to. Otherwise, because the 10,000 people around you could be wrong. Might does not make right. So just because the majority votes or says a certain way or agrees a certain way or is manipulated, we'll say, a certain way by either a politician or a form of religion, doesn't really matter. What matters is that you follow your inner guidance, that you are your own boss, that you really call the shots. Because really, at the end of the day, you are your own boss, whether you like it or not. And if you're not used to this, maybe just find ways to take more control of your life in a respectful way around your communities. I know it's hard sometimes, like especially at jobs too, because in a lot of corporate world, there's obviously hierarchies where people get these titles and they think they're more important than you because they hold a higher title than you, or they get paid a higher salary or whatever, and you just kind of keep your mouth shut just to maintain your job. And I get that. um, if it's possible for you to be an individual sovereign in your workspace, like have your own business, do your own thing, I mean, that's even better because then you're practicing being an individual sovereign while you're having your career. Um, I've made a couple videos on here recently. They won't be popular at all about how praying makes you pray, and then I was just saying that worship is actually evil, because worship, when you're worshiping something else outside yourself, or you're praying, you're giving your life force over to it as a higher power over yourself. And I just want to point out that there is, see if we can bring this slide into view here. Yeah, there's almost 5,000 gods being worshipped by humanity. But don't worry, only yours is right. I was just having a conversation with a gentleman that I'm friends with, just down the street. When I go on my walks, I like to stop and talk to him while he's at work, because he's like, he sells mattresses. He's really never hardly any busy. You know, he's just sitting there waiting for customers, and he's a really interesting guy. I really enjoy talking with him, and he does understand this. He does understand. He was telling me the other day that, you know, if you're born in a certain country that has a certain religion, I mean, obviously that's the religion that gets pumped and programmed into their minds when they're younger, and then as they grow into adults, they believe that that's their true one religion, and they really believe it. And then if you got somebody across the world that thinks otherwise, they get in these arguments and conflicts, and it's really just kind of ridiculous. So, which God is the true God? Well, I would say none of the above. Um, you, your essence within you is so powerful that I would put you up against any of these phony gods that would try to sway you upon your death into the light, or into a life review, or into any kind of area where you're going to be manipulated, like I said, like a bad timeshare salesman. They're basically just leading you, and I would encourage you to take your power back, and explore, research, become your own guru, become your own savior. I mean, these are all savior programs. These are all, in my mind, the same. They're all savior programs designed to lure you away from yourself. And the key word, know thyself, is very important. Knowing yourself is the most important thing you can do while you're here. And I just wanted to encourage you guys to consider that individual sovereignty is the way, that you are the way, and anything that says it's the way outside of you is something to be skeptical of, and I wouldn't bow down to it. Bow down to yourself, but not in a narcissistic way, not like you're king shit of the world or looking down upon others. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about not giving your essence and your power and your energy away to these almost 5,000 gods that are being worshipped by the masses that are walking like lemmings towards the edge of a cliff, giving their life force away, and when they die, in my mind, based on my research, they'll most likely be reincarnated, because they didn't follow their inner essence. They followed something outside themselves. And all these supposed gods are leading people to the same area post life, where there's a life review, and you're gonna get guilt tripped. You're gonna be shown things where you failed in your life, and then they're gonna want to use it against you to sign another contract to come back into this world, into your body. Of course, they'll memory wipe you. You won't remember that last life. So when you come back here, all the lives that you lived prior, are gone. You don't. They wipe it. They wipe your mind, and I think that's really where the exposure comes in. That there's something nefarious going on here. Is the memory wipe? If this is a place to learn lessons, guys, lessons can be learned only by maintaining memory. As soon as the memory gets wiped, it's impossible for it to be a learning lesson facility, or some sort of area where you're supposed to learn all these different things. Because, for example, if you go out in the woods and you get tagged by poison ivy, poison oak, or whatever, if you know, your lesson that you would learn there is what that leaf looks like. So the next time you go out there, you're not getting it, you're not walking through it again, so that you don't have to go through the pain and suffering of the poison ivy, poison oak, or whatever. Well, as soon as they imagine that just happened to you, and then your memory gets wiped, and then you get thrown back out in the woods again. Well, that's not fair. That's cruel, actually. And And so I would encourage you to look into this. There's good channels out there. I'm sub to a lot of channels. You can see who I'm sub to. Forever Conscious Research channel, Tony Sayers, um, um, others, and Sovereign Spirits, I should say, Wayne Bush and his partner Julie. But yeah, individual sovereignty and learning to be around people that respect your sovereignty. Be around people that you can build a relationship with, where you more share than have this sort of rulership where somebody's in a hierarchy. If somebody around you thinks they're better than you because of their status or their title or any of that, I mean that's just nonsense. We all are born here. We all die. Our titles at the end of the day don't really matter, and what matters is your inner essence and living in alignment with your own truth and taking your own life back and being your own boss. So, hope this helps. Have a good day out there.